Welcome to Love Brand You on Win-Win Women. I'm Sam Rafis, your host for this metaphysical show focused on faith and inspiration for you to succeed in all areas of your life. As we do every week, we start out Love Brand You with the Love Brand You prayer. So if you'd like to take a deep breath, settle in your chair, put your feet flat on the floor, do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel grounded and comfortable. And I always start out with a deep breath, and then I take us into our prayers. So here we go. My God source loves me no matter what. I am always lovable and give myself compassion for everything I've ever done or not done. Love heals me more quickly than self-judgment. I choose love now, for me and for everyone in my life. For this, I give thanks. I let it be so, and so it is. Amen. Amen to another week and another episode of Love Brand You. Thank you for being here. I welcome you to this success topic, the power of a serene morning routine. First off, I'm sharing some thoughts and quotes, and I've got a study that I'm going to share with you about gratitude and about serenity. So this show is about serenity and the impact of morning thoughts and routines. Okay, then I will share some ideas and practices that I do that will hopefully help you create or enhance your morning routine. So to start off, to those of you that know me well and you know how much I appreciate the writings of James Allen, and Wikipedia states, James Allen was a British philosopher. James Allen was a British philosophical writer known for his inspirational books and poetry and as a pioneer of the self-help movement. His best-known work, As a Man Thinketh, has been mass-produced since its publication in 1903. It has been a source of inspiration to motivational and self-help authors. And I was digging a little bit deeper in some of my writings about James Allen, and one of the writings says he is also known as the prophet of meditation, which I can agree to that, knowing how many hours I've spent in deep contemplation with the writings of James Allen. He was only 47 when he died on January 24th, 1912. His book of Meditations was published in 1913, and it was combined with his Morning and Evening Thoughts, which was published in 1909, to create a book of meditations and thoughts for every day of the year. So his book of meditations wasn't even published till after his death. However, it still is probably, I would think, in the top 10 of philosophical writers and meditative writings. So I've read, I've journaled, and I've meditated on his works for, I was trying to count the years. It has to be 10 to 15 years now. And I just want to share with you from his thoughts for the morning, one of those thoughts from his book, because it's fitting for this episode. So James Allen says, in aiming at the life of blessedness, one of the simplest beginnings to be considered and rightly made is that which we all make every day, namely, the beginning of each day's life. There is a sense in which every day may be regarded as the beginning of new life, in which one can act, think, and live newly and in a wiser and better spirit. The right beginning of the day will be followed by a cheerfulness permeating the household with a sunny influence, and the tasks and duties of the day will be undertaken in a strong and confident spirit, and the whole day will be well lived. Those words I have probably read, written in I don't know how many countless journals over the years, and it just serves as that reminder how important starting our day is, and why many years ago I chose to make it important for me, that it was really important, because I've got here in my notes, it certainly wasn't true for me to begin with. I didn't always have a good start to the day. When my three daughters were young and I was juggling the morning routine, especially when they were 2, 4, and 6 years old, around that time, maybe give or take a few years. However, I specifically remembering, those of you that have had young children or have young kids, you can just immediately take yourself back to those days when, you know, when they're little, and life is a lot different when you're trying to help a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old get ready, get dressed, eat breakfast, and you're struggling to get out the door in order to make it to school on time. I remember I wasn't always feeling very serene some of those mornings. So it was around that time that I knew I had to do something different. I wanted a better morning. I didn't want to feel hurried. I didn't want to feel somewhat short with my kids sometimes. I never liked that feeling. I always liked the feeling of calmness. So I thought, if I want the feeling of calmness, if I want my kids to be calm, then that's where it starts, is with me. So it was on one of those mornings that I decided that I would have to figure out some quiet time for me in the morning before the girls woke up. And back then, some days I maybe only got 5 or 10 minutes of quiet time, but it was enough to start the habit of a serene morning routine. Once I was calmer in the morning, like I said, the girls were too, and life was so much better for all of us. So what is serenity? We each have an idea of what serenity means to us. So according to the Oxford Dictionary, though, that defines serene as calm, peaceful, tranquil, untroubled, composed, easygoing. Serenity is one of my favorite words, and every time I feel calm, I feel good. So I like to be calm, peaceful, and I like to be known for being easygoing. So I do aim for that feeling, and I aim for leading with that characteristic. It's my daily intention, because I know when I'm feeling calm, tranquil, untroubled, that I truly do have a great day. I'm just going to go through some of the practices that I do that help me to have a serene start to my day. Some of these I touched on last week when I did the overview of daily, when I talked about morning, daytime, and evening. And then I said I would dive deeper in subsequent episodes. So this episode is focused on morning routines. Next week, I'll dive deeper into what we can do throughout the day to be calm and serene. And the following week after, you guessed it, evening routines. All right. So if you have some morning habits, rituals, routines that you do, we all tend to have certain things that we do in the morning, at least when I'm talking to my colleagues, friends, family. Each of us has different things that we do in the morning. So if you have things that are working for you, I just always say keep doing it. If I share something here that piques your interest, or you're thinking, oh, I might want to try that, then I encourage you to try it out. So my typical morning routine: wake up. I typically don't set an alarm. I have learned and adopted the routines that I have. So in the evening, I actually say, I'll wake up when I need to wake up. So for me, that could be anywhere between 5:30 and 7 a.m. So typically, it usually is around 5:30 or 6 o'clock. That's usually my internal clock. However, if I do stay up a little bit later in the evening, if I'm wanting to get something done, or I have a little bit later of a night and I don't have to start my day at a certain time in the morning, whether it be on the weekend or if my workday starts a little bit later, then my body will allow me to get up at 7. So I usually wake up happy no matter what's going on, even if it's tough, even if something is not going the way I want it to, and I maybe not as, or I feel untroubled or troubled versus untroubled. I always, as much as I can, wake up and focus on the thought of what can I be happy about. And I mentioned that last week too, that if I need to think of something to make me happy, usually I don't. Usually I have a very good life that I'm very happy about. However, if I need to think of something, all I need to do is think about my 2-year-old grandson and I am happy. So whatever you need to do to wake up happy, that is what I call number one, because you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So you might as well think the best thought you can in each moment. The second thing, once I wake up, I actually just I stay in bed for a little bit. I lay there in silence. Silence. So most mornings, I just try to keep my mind quiet for a few minutes, even though I'm trying to think of happy thoughts, and I don't try to think of too much other than I quiet my mind, I breathe deeply, and I mentally give myself love. So I think, uh, anything I can to give myself self love. And I say usually every morning when I'm thinking that, by the grace of God, I am what I am. And that's from Corinthians 15:10. And it just reminds me that I am who I am, and to be thankful and grateful for being here, because we all would not be here if we weren't supposed to be. And God, universe, source has a plan for each of us, and I try to remember that. And then I just, again, I lay there in silence and I quiet my mind. And there is a saying that says, the quieter you become, the more you hear. And I had that written down in my notes. I didn't have the who that's attributed to. So if there is somebody that that's attributed to, and you know who that is, then I've just said this here because those are not my words that I just thought up. 3, be grateful. So once I've kind of quieted my mind and I've given myself a bit of self-love, I just go through my gratitude list. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my family, my bed, my home, whatever I'm thankful for in that moment. And as I was preparing for today, I thought, what's the bit of science behind gratitude? Because we know that there's so many studies done on everything. So I did look up a study from Greater Good from Berkeley, and it's called How Gratitude Changes You and Your Brain. And this is from 2017 by Joshua Brown and Joel Wong. And I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs that I thought were appropriate for today's episode. So in a recent research study involving nearly 300 adults, we found that across the participants, when people felt more grateful, their brain activity was distinct from brain activity related to guilt and the desire to help a cause. More specifically, we found that when people who are generally more grateful gave when people who are generally more grateful gave more money to a cause, they showed greater neural sensitivity in the medial in the medial prefrontal cortex, a brain area associated with learning and decision making. This suggests that people who are more grateful are also more attentive to how they express gratitude. And we've all heard it many times, make a gratitude journal. And if you are one of those individuals that have tried that, or if you have focused on gratitude, I encourage you to think back how you feel when you're in that habit of gratitude. Because I know for me, when I am consciously in the attitude of gratitude, I can't always explain it, but I know that I overall feel better. So moving on to another paragraph in their results. Most interestingly, when we compared those who wrote the gratitude letters, so they did a study that included this exercise where half the participants wrote gratitude letters and half didn't. So most interestingly, when we compared those who wrote the gratitude letters with those who didn't, the gratitude letter writers showed greater activation in the medial prefrontal cortex when they experienced gratitude in the fMRI scanner. This is striking, as this effect was found 3 months after the letter writing began. This indicates that simply expressing gratitude may have lasting effects on the brain. While not conclusive, this finding suggests that practicing gratitude may help train the brain to be more sensitive to the experience of gratitude down the line, and this could contribute to improved mental health over time. Like I said, I know for me how much better I feel when I have the attitude of gratitude. The next thing, and I number these because now I've got number 4, and literally when I was creating this episode, I was visually and mentally walking myself through, okay, what is it that I do? I wake up, oh, then I lay there in silence. So I was literally visually writing them down in my mind. So this is how I've written them out in my notes. So number 4, I take a few minutes and think about the kind of day that I want to experience. And I imagine all the good things. So I just quickly, well, and I shouldn't say quickly, I don't, sometimes when I'm thinking about these types of routines and I'm discussing them with clients, then sometimes people think, oh, wow, like this just takes so long. And actually it doesn't. So when you put all of these pieces together, they do come together seamlessly. At least for me, they do. And it's not necessarily that it takes me hours and hours to get out of bed. So I take a few minutes and think about the kind of day I want to experience, and I imagine all good things. Next, just before I get out of bed, I say my dedication. I dedicate this day to God within me, the true self of my being. It is the power of God working through me that lives in me this day. My metaphysical studies taught me by offering a dedication each morning, your soul casts a signal outward to the universe, attracting situations along its theme just as you've asked. Dedications are a potent way for you to understand just how powerful you and your decisions are. And I added this dedication to my morning routine. I'm a year and a half, 2 years ago, approximately. And most mornings I say this dedication. The odd time I'm not gonna lie, the odd time I forget that step. However, I normally remember it later on when I'm either doing yoga or I'm doing something else, my journaling, and then I remember and I go, oh, dedication. And knowing knowing that I am putting that out into the universe, and the feeling of what it feels like every time I do that dedication, it for me, it does make a difference. So I encourage you to try it. And I will have it as part of the notes, especially when I upload to YouTube. I put all the notes in there. So if you're looking for the dedication, you can find it there. Or if you want anything from any of my episodes, all you have to do is shoot me a message on Love Brand You, and I will be happy to provide any of the dedications or any of the links or anything that you um, would like to have. So just let me know. Okay, so I was saying earlier, this might sound like a lot. However, in actuality, it takes me anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to do all of this. It just depends how long I feel like staying in bed. I alluded to quickly or feeling like I'm rushing. So then I focus on serenity, because being calm, tranquil, peaceful is, takes having that feeling of tranquility is not the same as feeling rushed. And I just have a little note here. It made me think of that old Zen saying, you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day unless you are too busy. Then you should sit for an hour. And that it just is reminding us that oftentimes, especially in today's society, we are in a hurry. There's always seems like we have so much on our to-do list. And I I can say that when I was in that mindset, it never seemed like I got everything I wanted to get done in a day. However, when I consciously said, this doesn't feel good, this is not working, the girls and I are in too much of a hurry. I didn't like the feeling of feeling rushed everywhere, and I wanted to have a different feeling. When I consciously focused on it and the feeling of serenity, calm, peace, I just know that when I'm feeling those feelings again of I need to get too much done, then I remind myself of that Zen saying, okay, I guess I need more meditation or more quiet time. And it works every time. Then I get out of bed and I take care of my bathroom needs. I do that stuff, brush my teeth, etc. My next habit is I drink 1 or 2 glasses of green water. And this is just water that I add liquid chlorophyll to. I used to drink lemon water in the morning, which I really like. I like lemon water. However, I remember one of my teachers in nutrition school drinking liquid chlorophyll. And there, a few years ago, I thought I just wanted to change from lemon water. I was just getting bored with it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try chlorophyll. There's so many benefits to it. And now, in all honesty, it's my go-to. It's my favorite. I feel more energized. Um, there's so many health benefits to green water, and I will likely do a video just on the benefits of green water. So I will likely do that and upload that to my YouTube channel as well. Anyway, just for today's episode, just a few benefits of liquid chlorophyll are it's consuming chlorophyll increases the number of red blood cells, which then increases oxygen utilization by the body. So that's why when I first started drinking it, that's why I felt more energetic, because no matter what, I know I was eating fairly healthy and getting my exercise. However, just by introducing that, I know I felt something different. And everyone has to try it themselves. I can't promise any outcomes for anyone when it comes to your health. However, I remember thinking at the time, it was about a week later, maybe 10 days, and I remember thinking, I just feel better overall. And adding chlorophyll to my water was the only thing that I had done differently. And I notice it when I'm not doing it. I had been out of it for a while, and I just ordered it again, and I actually have it here. So if anyone wants to know about it, I can share more information about it. And part of my water is left here. And anyway, it is also known to help cleanse the body, fight infection, helps heal wounds, and promote the health of your circulatory, digestive, immune, and detoxification systems. And an added benefit for some people is it helps diminish bad breath and body odor. So if that's something you've never tried, I encourage you to give it a try and see how you feel. The one that I get, there is no taste to it, so I don't notice any taste. Some individuals get flavored ones. I know there's peppermint ones, there's different ones with different flavors. I just prefer the natural chlorophyll, and that's what works for me. So I drink the water not only to rehydrate after a night's sleep. I just also know that I like the benefits and feel like I'm more energized from that liquid chlorophyll. So that's one of my secrets to my morning routine. After my water, I take a bit of time to stretch. I do a bit of yoga. Some mornings I go out for a walk, but most days I leave the walk for later on in the day, because then I go longer. In the mornings, I'm really just trying to get that routine that feels tranquil and serene, yet I know that I like to keep it within a half hour. If I do need to have an earlier start, there's a couple mornings during the week that I have an earlier start. And sometimes my morning routine is really only 15 minutes, and it might not sound like it here. However, I I I manage it in my mind and go, okay, I've got this going on in the morning, so this is where I need to go with my morning routine in order to have that serene start. After I do a bit of yoga or stretching, I meditate. Uh, and meditation is really just listening to God, where prayer is talking to God. And meditation usually is just sitting here in quiet. And sometimes I listen to pink noise. That just helps me just focus on meditation, which is releasing my thoughts. For me, it's trying to quiet the mind. I may listen to YouTube. I have different playlists that I've arranged that are inspirational. I may listen to binaural beats, which is also known as sound wave therapy. And I'll explain it a little bit here for you, those of you that don't know about it. Binaural beats are a technique involving listening to specific sound frequencies in order to induce mental states, such as relaxation, sleep, concentration, memory, and creativity. I started listening to binaural beats because of the creative factor. I knew I wanted to create more content for my work and for my business and for my studies. I've got ideas in my mind for writing a book. There's a lot that I've got going on in my mind that I need to um, get those creative juices flowing. And I had read about binaural beats, and I had known a couple women in my circle that just said they actually loved what listening to binaural beats did for them. And the example of that is two different sound frequencies. So you need to wear headphones. It's you need the headphones because you have a different one tone in one ear and another tone in the other ear. So an example, say you've got 320 hertz in the right ear and you've got 360 hertz in the left ear, then it creates a 40 hertz tone that your brain hears, which induces that mental state. So you need to use headphones to get the desired outcome. In the morning, I usually choose from YouTube playlists that have binaural beats music. And in the morning, I focus on focus music, creative music. Sometimes I will, if I'm not feeling well, if I feel like I'm a little bit under the weather or tired out, I will actually go through the binaural beats playlist that I have, and you can choose ones. And there's ones that say DNA repair, um, immune function, body healing. There are so many different sound wave therapy choices that they're endless. So if you haven't tried it, I encourage you to try listening to binaural beats and go with what you feel, as in what do you like to listen to. There's a few that I've tried that I don't like the sound of, so I just choose something else. And I have a couple of my favorites. When I am working during the day, often I keep going back to the same one that's a focus music that really helps me as I listen to it. I also in the morning I do read some type of inspirational material. So whether it's a passage in a book or if I pick up my dad's Bible, it's whatever I feel called to. And I typically have things around me. So I might, oh, today I want to read Daily Guidance from Your Angels. This is a book that my mom gave me in 2008 that I absolutely cherish. And you can see how I've taped it. This is how much use it gets from daily use, or my dad's Bible. These are both near and dear to my heart. So whatever I feel like reading, I read and I meditate and pray with it for a little bit, and then I journal whatever it is I want to write in my journal. And it includes a prayer or two. It really truly is whatever I am feeling called to. That's all my morning routine is, and it has all of these segments to it. It really is just whatever in that moment of that day that I feel called to make me have that feeling of peace and serenity and having a start to a really good day. So after that's done, like I said, takes 20 minutes, half an hour, sometimes 15 if I need to uh, get online, which I do a couple mornings a week, early mornings. And because I look forward to my day. I look forward to everything I'm doing. So I get excited, even if it has to do with getting to work or getting on a client call. A lot of my work tends to be this. So I I I know once I'm done my prayers in my journal that I go and get my hot water or make my coffee or whatever it is I want to do. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat right away. I have the luxury of working from home. So I let my body tell me if I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not, then I add it into my morning later. So consciously choosing and creating how I start my day has led me to serenity, a calm, peaceful, and tranquil life. And it adds to my productive days, which I will focus on next week, a positive, productive, serene daily routine. So the quote of the day: when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. And that is from Marcus Aurelius. So my action step for you this week, I always leave you with just try something, or I inspire you, or I encourage you to try something different. Try it for 30 days. Start even with a few minutes if that's all you have. Like I said, when the girls were young, I started with 5 minutes, and that's what got me on that daily habit. So if you want to contact me and find out more, or let me know how you're doing with your serene morning routine, I would love to hear about it. Just as always, head on over to lovebrandyu.com and you can find me there and send me a message. I would love to hear from you. And we're at the end of the show and our closing affirmation. I am whole, perfect, loving, healthy, prosperous, strong, powerful, happy, harmonious, and serene. For this I give thanks. I let it be so, and so it is. Amen.